It's January 22nd, 2022, so I'm just sitting here. I wanted to watch something called Black Widow. I know it has importance and significance, um, and it's very relevant. It's just in a space between here and there in a neural connected network of some sort that never seems to have any, like, meat and bones and physicality to it somehow. Um, in the way I've lived most of my life. So, but it costs money, which I don't have, so I had to nix that idea. And on Paramount Network today, they have Top Gun, Topgun. Now, I think I've seen this a while ago, but I was in a different headspace, and the carry forward is right. Tom Cruise was. This was the franchise carry forward was. Tom Cruise was in it. They made a big deal about him. Val Kilmer was in it, but usually people have to. Someone would have to remind me of another star. I don't know any of the other names. And it's about airplanes. But, like, not the passenger commercial airlines in aviation. It's more Machiavelli, is what I call it. Like Nicholas Machiavelli. But not a philosophical whatever for cognition with whatever. Now, in pro forma, the interesting thing is, if I look back on this world has not met, I don't believe, Bayside Station world of nothingness. If my world were to come into contact with something that lives in this world, I'm sure we could have a conversation and find common ground. It behooves me how they were even allowed this, based on the fact that I was born in this situation. What I don't understand is that the humans intimate that this exists, that geometry exists, that they talk about leaving the ground with your body machina, getting into a vehicle or vessel of some sort, a vassal, if you will, and then having geometric conversations as the body and the unit fly through some whatever. It exists somewhere. Far be it from me, it behooves me where, how. I mean, these conversations don't just happen on the nominal street. It happens in some movie theater at some point. But as a child, how do you sign up for this kind of lifestyle? How did my parents miss this level of opportunity for me, and how did I miss this level of opportunity for my children? And who's receiving this level of opportunity and why? How does that get put together? Just curious. Because, again, in this renowned genetic that I have in a painted on canvas, painted in a museum from another numeric catalog of events, this one's been damaged a lot. Just waiting around, trying to look for clues on some, what they call smart TV. It no longer has buttons here. It has buttons on something separate and requires me to figure something out. If you look on these monitors, however, they're push button. This was like, what, 1985 1985 was when this pro forma and franchise was put out to my level of human. I was too little. I didn't see this until much later on, and I don't even know if I saw the whole thing. Nor did I understand. I mean, I knew they were pilots, but I mean, like, that whole world is totally foreign and alien. I mean, I don't know anybody who I've met, but I even spoke to him that night. I said, I've heard some of the words that you've used of what you're saying you are. I was like, I don't even know how to put a conversation together because I'm so out of that. I don't even, I mean, like, it was embarrassing just how little in conversation I was able to have because I was asking for input, but he was like, let's talk about something else. Okay. Whatever. I mean, if you don't want to talk about yourself and build something, I'm not forcing anyone to do whatever.
Good choice. Dare 14 is
But
defensive. Here's a chance to bug out right here. Better to retire than save your aircraft. Push a bad position.
So what I don't understand is why did they introduce something called a passenger airline or commercial airline and start moving commoners all over the place? And where were this level of pilot to stop it and to thwart it completely? I mean, on paper, it doesn't sound like a good idea. It sounds like a really dangerous operation. It sounds like you're getting involved with human trafficking and the possibility of moving illegal substance and the possibility of losing air traffic control. And once you have loss of air traffic control, how do you keep the commoners safe? How do you keep air quality control? How do you keep people from moving things that, like, unexpectedly into other areas? I mean, on just a simple conversation, does not seem like a good idea. What I don't understand is how did they get so much investment for building airports that were unregulated and for just starting this industry? Not this industry, not the movies, not the geometric shapes with some form of whatever. I'm talking about simple airplanes like a Boeing 747 moving in human trafficking and all sorts of stuff. How could planet and world even allow that to happen at the scale for which the humans have accomplished? It does not make sense to me. It looks like a dangerous business and a dangerous industry. And it looks from the ground like part of the problem that is now what happened to the schools, what happened to the communication level, what happened to my orchard of apples and family. I mean, I've got a Linda and a Lou. That's all I got. And then circumstantial, I brought in 4 carbon copies of my own genetic. But I don't have anything in 1976, 1975, not a tag along that I'm taking anywhere with me. Not in the Forever family, no thank you. So now it gets confusing how they went from this world that doesn't... Oh, and then they make reference of this jacket, which has a crossover jacket reference. Oh, here it is. This brown jacket. Well, I don't know about Texas, but actually I did meet Nick in Landmark from Texas once. I'm like, your accent doesn't sound Texas. I'm not buying it. But whatever. He's like, now how do you know? And I was like, because things on the TV from Texas don't sound like that accent. It's a different sound completely. But this and this brown jacket, not this face, but Frank Falco brought me to Roadhouse, however that works. I don't know if there was a sedative involved. It gets a little confusing along the way, being that there's been so many sedatives given, and then I wake up in these situations. So there was someone with this kind of situation going on in familial, genetically or genealogy correct, whatever, that was wearing the jackets that met in a billiard hall. And then we needed some kind of, they said I'd start calling on my cell phone, but like I was in some kind of like magnet, like I was getting dizzy, honestly. I was having trouble holding thoughts. I was trying to concentrate on what they were asking of me, but it was like I was having trouble with what function they needed me to perform. So finally, I think I called Kathy Taylor, which at the time was Kathy Stepnick, which is now Kathy something else. And then I called Paul Thompson. Those were the two, and Frank Falco was there. And that was in something called the Roadhouse, which was in Lindenhurst, Long Island. And there was a very tall, blonde-headed gentleman. Frank was short. He was 5'5". And he said to me outside, he's like, "You don't want to go home with him." I go, "No, I know I don't." And I was like, "And tell me why?" He goes, "Well, first of all, he's short." I'm like, "Right." He's like, "I know you belong with tall, and I know that you like tall." I was like, I was like, "Well, I do. I just don't know how you know that, but all right." And then he gave Frank some kind of verbal warning, but Frank got on this phone that he had, which was like a thin stick which flipped up. It was the most bizarre phone. I'd never seen another American with that level of phone. And then something happened, and it like, I don't know, it went weird again. And the gentleman that I wanted to go home with, or wanted to take me to wherever I should be, or with whomever I should be, just disappeared. And Frank in his white Mustang with black stripes took me somewhere else completely. This is how confusing this journey has been with these humans. Frank also took me on the back of a motorcycle on some Hell's Angels ride or some Guardian ride or something. I'm not a motorcycle fan. If I never rode on one, I'd be okay. But for some reason, he was into Harley Davidson, which I know on Long Island, it's like an American thing, like, right? Yeah, I don't really want to be that level of American, but here we are. So I got on the back of the motorcycle. We did a charity ride of some sort. And I guess is that camaraderie? Because he was the wrong whatever that you humans keep putting me with these wrong, false narratives that I don't want, but you have this human plan that you keep trying to drag me through. It's really frustrating. So these are the events of nonsensical that I never wanted, but here we are. Of circumstances that I've been thrust into, not because I wanted to, but there's a bigger something going on. It's just in my instance, which the movies don't portray, they give you a sedative, they knock you out while they're committing the crime, and when you wake up, you don't know what crime they performed. Whether it's tissue sample, and these are humans on Long Island, or that have access to Long Island, and whatever was supposed to be keeping us safe. There's a record of it somewhere. I'm just not quite sure what keeps me safe between humans, aliens, and monsters. I know my forever family exists. I've seen them. I've seen them come out and have conversation for me, but not in a platform that's been able to successfully protect me in any, like, physical way, because I'm in Linda and Lou's with 1975, which is an issue, and he's pretending he's my son's father. He wanted to be Alexander's father. I said, absolutely not. And now my son is growing up all sorts of weird vocabulary, weird instances, weird. Not in anything that's going to help him when he gets older. This is not like my son's like staying with a Boy Scout, like from the troop that Benjamin got started with. Like, those are real American hero like examples. I have not been that fortunate. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it is Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.